On Thursday, July 31st, the northeastern United States was hit by torrential rains that caused widespread flooding in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Maryland. In response, authorities declared a state of emergency in New York and New Jersey under NOAA Threat Level 3/4. Several regions received rainfall of between 12 and 20 centimeters, 5 to 8 inches, in just a few hours, with peak rates of up to 7 centimeters, 3 inches per hour in some locations. Additionally, damaging winds of up to 104 kilometers, 65 miles per hour, and intense electrical activity were reported, exacerbating the impact of the phenomenon. Transportation services were severely impacted. More than 1,300 flights were canceled at key airports such as JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark, while Amtrak suspended service on several rail lines. The New York City subway system suffered extreme downpours at stations such as Grand Central, Metrotech, and 7th Avenue, where water gushed from walls and ceilings, forcing service to halt on multiple lines and trapping passengers on trains. In Queens, the Clearview Expressway became a brown torrent that swept away cars, taxis, and trucks. Some drivers had to abandon their vehicles by climbing onto roofs or desperately seeking rescue. The FDNY Fire Department and the NYPD's emergency unit responded to hundreds of incidents, although the magnitude of the disaster exceeded any expectations. In Brooklyn, an MTA bus was flooded in its center aisle, halting traffic and forcing evacuations. Images circulating on social media highlighted the intensity of the event and the vulnerability of an urban infrastructure that collapsed in the face of such intense rain. On Staten Island, areas such as Catherine Court and Jewett Avenue recorded water accumulations of more than 21 inches, while in Wingate, Brooklyn, they reached 8.1 inches, and on Ditmars Avenue and Westminster Road, they exceeded 9.3 inches. The FloodNet NYC system allowed flooding in areas of the city to be monitored in real time, recording peak accumulations and the speed of water advance. On Long Island, Amtrak's Port Washington line suspended operations. A train became stuck near Bayside, and passengers were evacuated using ladders by firefighters after nearly an hour without power or ventilation, raising concerns about claustrophobia. At LaGuardia Airport, more than 350 flights were canceled, causing delays and logistical chaos. In Manhattan, rainfall reached up to 3 inches per hour, overwhelming urban drainage capacity, rendering avenues like the FDR Drive impassable and causing traffic lights to stop working. The New York governor and mayor declared a state of emergency, suspended the alternate parking program and activated basement evacuation protocols, setting up shelters in police stations and community centers. Baltimore implemented preventative measures at its Seagirt port, canceled public activities, and closed flood-prone streets. In Harford County, 2 people were rescued from their partially submerged vehicle. Philadelphia was also impacted. SEPTA's Spring Garden Station was flooded, and an underground track became a waterfall. In Reading, Pennsylvania, 6th and 8th Streets experienced frequent flooding during heavy rains. In New Jersey, the Weather Service issued tornado warnings for 3 counties, while in New York City, more than 1,500 customers were left without power. Traffic lights stopped working and road closures were created. Emergency crews worked throughout the night to restore power, prioritizing hospitals and critical facilities. The Brooklyn Children's Museum and several schools and libraries were temporarily closed to assess damage from leaks and standing water. Drainage work was concentrated on avenues such as Insurgentes Drive, Circuito Estadio Azteca, and main routes in critical areas to restore traffic. The Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency activated the iFlow system, which uses sensors to monitor temperature, precipitation, and humidity in real time to anticipate future flooding. The power outage affected areas in Queens and Brooklyn, complicating the response and forcing the reinforcement of relief and cleanup crews. The situation highlighted the saturation of stormwater networks and the need to reinforce infrastructure in the face of extreme rainfall. Digital platforms recorded thousands of videos showing floating cars, flooded subway stations, and people evacuating underwater. The pressure exerted by the storms shook residential and commercial structures, causing material damage and widespread urban chaos. Authorities recommend evacuating basements, using alternate routes such as the inner loop, and avoiding unnecessary travel during times of heavy rain. Meteorological monitoring remains active, with forecasts of additional rainfall that could trigger new emergencies in already affected areas.